A resolution has been reintroduced in the US condemning the human rights abuses being committed by the Eritrean government. Eritrean opposition groups are making a claim as if engagement between Trump and Isaias Afwerki is not real, and this resolution represents the US policy towards Eritrea. We'll have a detailed look at this resolution, who introduced it, and is the engagement between Trump and Afwerki real or not. Secondly, viewers, how were mediators treated in Addis Ababa? Mediators from Tigray who visited Addis Ababa recently. Why is one mediator leveling serious allegations against the Ethiopian government, federal government? Let's start with the story about Eritrea US relations. Trump's letter to Isaias Afwerki, it seems, has given sleepless nights to Eritrean opposition groups. They're not happy with the contents of the letter because the letter clearly states that US wants to uh, reestablish friendly relations with the Eritrean, and the latter is critical of Joe Biden's policies towards Iran. The latter is definitely a serious blow to Eritrean opposition groups, which have been receiving support, financial support, diplomatic support from US State Department, which have been hoping that through US support, through US assistance, they'll be able to bring about change in Eritrea in the form of the removal of Eritrean government of Isaias Afwerki. But Trump government has shown interest in forming partnership with the Eritrean government. That is why Eritrean opposition groups not happy. Now, these opposition groups definitely contacted their friends in the US. And now some US senators have introduced a resolution at the Senate. Chris Coons, Adam Schiff, Dick Durbin are the three senators who have introduced a new resolution, or they have introduced an older resolution at the US Senate. The resolution is very critical of the Eritrean government, that this government is involved in serious human rights abuses. The resolution is calling for the release of all political prisoners in Eritrea. It is calling for an end to human rights abuses being committed in Eritrea. It is calling for opening of space for political parties, for media, for the people of Eritrea. Several Eritrean opposition groups are propagating this development, that it just shows what US foreign policy is about the Eritrean government, which is not true. The three senators who are backing this resolution are Democrats. Chris Coons, Adam Schiff, and Dick Durbin, all three are from the Democratic Party. None of them is a Republican. Trump is leading Republican Party. What his policy towards Eritrea is a reversal of Democrats' policy towards Eritrea. This is what he's saying. Definitely, Democrats are going to oppose Trump's change of foreign policy towards Eritrea. This resolution does not show new US foreign policy towards Eritrea, which is being adopted by Trump government. But we must not forget that Trump has banned all visas for Eritreans. So a lot will happen in coming months, and then we'll be able to conclude if there is any real improvement in US-Eratian relations. So far, while Trump is expressing interest in improving ties with Eritrean government, on the other hand, he is banning all Eritreans from entering the US. So let's wait a little. But Eritrean opposition groups should speak the truth. They should do what they've been doing. They can do what they've been doing, but they should not twist facts, I would say. Secondly, was how were mediators from Tigray treated when they went to Addis Ababa? A video is in circulation for the last few days showing a religious leader from Tigray criticizing the federal government of Ethiopia, sharing details of what happened when they went to Addis Ababa for mediation. Firstly, it was the Ethiopian Prime Minister who asked religious leaders, elders, uh, businessmen, diplomats, international community to mediate between Tigray and federal government, saying situation was alarming, war could erupt, a deadlier war. All should play their part to solve this issue through dialogue. Then we saw that two delegations visited Tigray from federal government side, from federal side. One delegation consisted of around 50 people from all regions of Ethiopia. Religious leaders were part of it, others too. They were warmly welcomed in Tigray. They held meetings with Emmanuel Assefa, with Gretchen Gabriel Mikhail, with Dasa Varade. And they came with several trucks full of humanitarian aid for Tigrayans. Similarly, some delegations from Tigray went to Addis Ababa. But it's not that just one delegation went from Tigray to Addis Ababa. I think two or three delegations visited Addis Ababa. One delegation did meet with the Ethiopian Prime Minister. One delegation from Tigray did uh, hold a meeting with the Ethiopian PM. Ethiopian Prime Minister shared pictures of the delegation members with him. But some other delegations could not meet with the Prime Minister. This man, whose picture you can see on thumbnail too, he says that the delegation which he was part of was not allowed to meet with the Ethiopian Prime Minister. Their delegation members were threatened. They were dumped rather at a hotel in Addis Ababa. They were told that they cannot leave the hotel. If they leave the hotel, they'll be arrested. Then the man criticizes the Ethiopian federal government, accusing it for being responsible for all the problems being faced by the people of Tigray. He can be heard saying that Amharas are not responsible, Fano not responsible. Federal government of Ethiopia is responsible for the people, for the suffering of the people of Tigray. Well, firstly, when you have this type of opinion, you cannot be a mediator. To be a mediator, you need to be very balanced in your views. Otherwise, you won't be acceptable to be regarded as a mediator. Secondly, one delegation did meet with the Ethiopian PM. Ethiopian PM would like a delegation of his choice. This is what mediation means for them, that they want mediators of their choice, they want agendas of their choice, and they want their demands to be fulfilled through mediation. This is what mediation means for federal government, and perhaps this is what mediation means for the Tigray government. That is why mediation has not worked. It achieved nothing so far. Thanks for watching.